Welcome, leaders. This is your preparation guide for Manhood Talks Week 2. Kris Langham with you again as we continue the conversation on manhood. Week 2 is about faith, strength, courage, and love. It's what we've been talking about all week in the audio, and your group meeting is the time to talk it through and make it personal. Our goal this week is to establish those 4 attributes as pillars of godly manhood, and to begin redefining each of them according to God's terms. How does God define faith? How does he define strength, courage, or love? Now, I'm not saying that these 4 are the only aspects of manhood. We could list lots of things: wisdom, integrity, loyalty. But the key here is having a clearly defined focus. 4 is memorable. And we'll talk later about wisdom as a strength of mind, integrity as courage to be true, and loyalty as an expression of love. So these 4 form a foundation for godly character and really capture a lot of what the Bible tells us. Now, we're talking about faith, strength, courage, and love all through the week on the audio guides as we walk through Genesis 2 and the formation of mankind. The group session is about driving it home. It's so important to make sure your whole group is listening daily, especially you. It's for you more than anyone. The most important things for you to review are the story in Genesis 2 where we see mankind made in God's image, and also go over your working definitions for those 4 pillars. How does each of those reflect God's image? Also remember that on day 6, we begin talking about identity. I also recommend that you watch the group video ahead so you can see what's coming. This week, TeDese shares his testimony. It's powerful, and you can find a link to a longer interview on the manhoodtalks.com. Highly recommend, truly inspiring. Now, as usual, a rundown for the meeting is provided on manhoodtalks.com. You can print the PDF or follow it on your phone. Prep the group challenge and look over the questions. This week's discussion will be reviewing answers to questions they had throughout the week. Specifically, read their definitions for faith, courage, strength, and love. So have your boys open their journals and read their answers together. And if you have time, invite them to share any journal entries or questions from the week that aren't in the main discussion, especially thoughts on identity, as that will be an important concept moving forward. Now, speaking of discussion, it is time for this week's group leader tip of the week. This week's tip: what not to do. Do not talk too much. A good rule is 30-70. 30% you, 70 them. Do not teach too much. We taught this all through the week and on the video. Let them talk it through now. Do not answer too much. Some answering is good, but easy answers are easily forgotten. Let them search, and they'll remember what they worked for. And finally, do not try to handle hard issues alone. Know when to call for backup. You're talking with young men about deep personal issues like identity. Don't be surprised if one of them starts talking about gender identity, trauma, abuse, depression, even suicide. First, thank God they talk to you. They need to talk. Second, get help. Find a resource that's trauma-informed and trained for that issue. You don't have to solve their problem, but be ready to guide them to solutions. And remember our tip for every week, our rules of engagement: speak with grace, listen with humility, and no shaming. And that's it, guys. Have a blessed meeting, and I'll see you back here next week.